past. I remember reading to you an email from last time we were on from a lady that messaged me. She bought it from the big box store. She bought a gigantic big pack.
There's dozens of reviews that talk about that, and all they do are they make them nauseous or worse, or upset their stomach, or don't work. And so our omega-3 product bears absolutely no resemblance or relationship to a fish oil product that you might find in a discount store or a supermarket or pharmacy, apart from the fact that they both come from fish.
Right.
That's the beginning and end of the comparison. I'll elaborate on why. What I was going to mention, and I'll grab it when we talk about glucosamine a little bit later, there was a specific chart in the research, the science with glucosamine, that talked about glucosamine and omega-3s delivering far enhanced benefits to our joint health and our joint function. And again, the reason why, and I've talked about this over and over, the omega-3 fatty acids are basically, they play a multitude of roles in our body. One of them is sort of this lubricating role, that our body does rely on fatty acids to, and that's why at night, when it comes to the flow of our circulation, if you have a big steak or something like that before you go to sleep at night, your circulation is going to be a bit more sluggish because of the nature of the fats that are contained. Your platelets will be more sticky, and that's again because of the nature of the fats present in that steak, say, versus the fats present in a piece of fish, the omega-3 fatty acids. The omega-3 fatty acids are more supportive of those sort of lubricating properties. It doesn't enhance platelet stickiness to the same extent. In fact, it does just the opposite. In fact, oftentimes before you'll get surgery, the doctor might tell you to stop taking your omega-3 fats before surgery because they tend to support blood flow, and there might be concern about bleeding. What you won't hear doctors tell you, stop eating fish before surgery, so I'm a little wondering if that recommendation really holds water. If you're talking about someone who just eats fish in general, they're getting with a piece of fish more than the equivalent of a capsule of a typical omega-3 product. But regardless, it underscores the importance of these fatty acids. These fatty acids are the principal component in our brain. As much as we think of calcium as the principal component in our bones, the omega-3 fatty acid, DHA, the principal fatty acid we offer, not the principal fatty acid others offer, but that we offer, that fatty acid is 2/3 of the weight of the brain. 2/3 of the weight of the brain. And as concentrated as it is, 2/3 of the weight of our brain, it's even more concentrated in the retina of our eye. So without even talking about the benefits to our heart and cardiovascular circulation, and of course I mentioned before the research and science on joint structure, also there's an abundance of research on the radiance of skin and our hair, the luster of our hair. It's inescapable. They're called essential fatty acids because our body can't make them at all. And the only way we get them is from our diet, and the American diet is pretty much defined by its absence of omega-3 fatty acids. So supplementing them makes sense, and ours are in their natural form. Most store-bought products are not. Ours feature DHA over EPA. Most store-bought products go the other way. The only way to go is with the lead ingredient being the principal ingredient in our brain and eyes. Also, why is DHA better to have more of than EPA? Because your body can make as much EPA as it wants from DHA, but your body can't make as much DHA as it wants from EPA. So our product is common sense, plus it will never upset your stomach. It's a small capsule. If you look at our little capsule here, here's one of our little capsules, and then you look at the typical brands that contain less omega-3. So ours is in the middle. It's about 60% the size of their capsule. Ours contains about 50% more omega-3.
It's crazy to see it.
So for any number of reasons, ours is an omega-3 supplement unlike any omega-3 supplement made on the market. And if for no other reason, when I originally made omega-3s over 30 years ago, I wouldn't take them. I wouldn't take my own omega-3. Why?
Why?
They had fishy aftertaste. They upset my stomach. They were terrible. They were the best omega-3 fatty acids I could find, but I had a sensitive stomach, so it didn't work for me. And so I worked and worked and worked until we figured out how to make an omega-3 product that never upset your stomach, that was easy to swallow, and that had no fishy aftertaste. Now, like so many of you, I'm the biggest fan of this product.
Throw everything you know out about other omega-3 products that you've taken. The upset stomach, the fishy aftertaste, the gigantic pills that look like for a horse. I mean, they're huge. Look at the size of that. It's ridiculous. And this is what most of us are buying. This is why most of us don't want to take a pill that is an omega pill. Look at the difference in size with Andrew's, and to think that it's delivering so much more in terms of the benefits. I'll have this conversation a lot with people I meet out and about, and they'll say, oh, you know, what should I get from HSN? And I always mention Andrew naturally every single time. There's a lot of us, though, who have been taking specific brands for many, many years. And we're very loyal to those brands, and we're, yeah, I don't know. You have to get this. If you are taking or have tried another omega-3 product, you have to try Andrew's. This isn't just words or hype to say it's the best in the world. It is the best in the world. I would happily sit this next to any other brand out there side by side and compare the two. We only have a couple minutes left. Here's the pricing if you want to get it. It's wonderful because it's our New Year's extra savings event, as it were. This is the 30 caps today, $14.90, you're saving $7. The 60 caps is $24.90, you save $12. The 180 is $59.90, save $30. It's actually on 2 flex pay as well. And the 360, which is what most people do here for obvious reasons, under $100, you're saving $60. And Andrew, at last count, there was approaching 3,000 5-star reviews. And again, for most products, if you're an avid HSN viewer and you're always on hsn.com, you will know that most products have 10 to 20 reviews. In fact, any other hour of the day, if I was stood here, I would be jumping up and down and doing cartwheels if I had a product that had 30 reviews, Andrew. So this is pretty astonishing.
No, but I think the reason why my products get so many reviews, it's fantastic that our average review is, I think, between 4.6 and 4.7 stars. Right. It's fantastic that I think we're probably approaching 70 or 80,000 total reviews. But I think we have an advantage over any other product in terms of reviews. People leave reviews when they're surprised.
Yes.
I think people don't expect products from my industry to work. So, and least of all, to work in a way that's often described as a miracle or life-changing. So I think when people are truly astounded, they sort of want to shout it from the rooftops. And nowadays, shouting from the rooftops means posting a review, which oddly enough, it sort of is. You post a review, I would imagine so many of my reviews have been read by, many of your reviews have been read by thousands of people. And I've read reviews today that specifically thanked someone for their review, because without that review, they would have never thought of trying the product, and they would have never experienced its benefits. So the reviews are, certainly I love reading them, but they are an incredible service to your fellow informed consumers, because it makes sure that everyone is as equally informed as you were.
And we encourage you, just to that point, if you have a moment, please do leave a review, because your words are very powerful.
But I was just going to read some of the reviews. The science on this sort of goes without saying. We really elaborate on this product when we talk about the science in depth, and we'll have a today's special on this. It'll probably be about 4 months down the road, and we only do it once a year. This is a product that, depending on who you are, minimum of 1 capsule daily. You don't have to take more than 2 capsules daily. And that's typical what doctors recommend, cardiologists and the like. But just if we go here, doctor recommended. I went for my yearly eye exam. Now it's not just cardiologists, it's ophthalmologists and eye doctors, because 65%, there we go, in the terms of our brain, 65% of the dry weight of the brain is omega-3 DHA, and even a greater percent of our eyes are omega-3s. I'm 65 and my doctor recommended that I start taking omega-3. He said that it will help with not only my eyes, but also my brain. I took your product to him and he said that these are fantastic. So I will be on these as a supportive measure for my eyes and brain. Amazing. This is the best fish oil I've ever used in my entire life. There is no aftertaste, and it does not make you sick to your stomach like other brands. I can easily take 2 or more at the same time and not worry. I've been on these for about 1 year now. The price is all worth it. I'm so much healthier today than a year ago. Andrew, thank you so much. Your vitamins are the best of the best. From Magda in Ohio. Thank you, Magda. Makes a big difference. I ran out of my Maximum Essential Omega-3 orange capsules and didn't order right away. What a mistake that was, because my joints started to bother me. talking about the research on glucosamine and omega-3 together. I didn't do it as a test. I just kept forgetting. But I learned a lesson. After a week of taking the capsules, I began to feel much, much better. Thank you, thank you. Best omega-3. I've been told by several doctors that I need to take omega-3s, but could never get past the fishy taste of them until I tried Andrew's. These are the best, and there's absolutely no fishy aftertaste at all. I highly recommend these for anyone who needs to take omega-3s. From Nicole in Maryland. Perfect example. I'm someone who, I could eat a 1,500, 2,000 calorie meal back when I was an athlete, a 3,000 calorie meal, no problem. Right. But if I took one small, not even omega-3 capsule, I would be on the sidelines, not comfortable. The test on this, when I made this product, I could take 3 to 6 capsules on a completely empty stomach and go for a run, a 6-mile run, and not even realize I took them. Mine is a sensitive stomach in that regard. I know others, you know, it's 30-day money-back guarantee. You'll know right away from the moment you take this product. There will be no fishy aftertaste. That's why the reviews on this are over 95% positive.
Stay right there if you'd like to order yours. That special pricing is in effect. If you are just joining us, we will be later in the hour briefly mentioning, of course, our 2 today's specials, glucosamine and chondroitin, and of course, circulation and vein. And if there's a particular product that you are looking for, we're not covering it tonight. You can always go online at hsn.com and search Andrew Lessman, and his vitamin store will appear. Andrew also has video content on there as well. If you would like to connect with Andrew...
In fact, that's something I view from you. The most important thing I do isn't make vitamins. The most important thing I do is talk about them or talk about health and things like that. So one of the earmarks of what we do in the future is just going to be video content. It's what I love to do. So continue to share your questions with me, because every week I'll probably generate a couple of more hours of video content answering your questions. So you'll get multiple times more video content than you'll see me actually here on TV. But that's, I think, what everyone wants. It's nice to have great products to choose from. It's much better to be intelligent and informed about the products you're choosing.
And you can always, as well as we head over this way, check out Andrew's blog, wordsonwellness.com, which I know a lot of people enjoy.
I meant to write I got so busy before these shows yesterday and today, that I meant to post a blog on Friday, and I totally forgot.
We forgive you, Andrew.
I'll write a post-visit blog.
He's a busy man, there's no doubt.
There were questions of yours that I wanted to answer about new products and changing products, and if I'm considering making certain products that you're interested in, and I'll only make those that are supported by science. So even though there's been lots of products in the market that I could have made, and there would have been lots of sales, but that's not how we run things here. We only make products that are consistent with science, not with sales.
Well, one of the products that always gets a lot of attention, we only have a 4.5 or 5 minutes to spend here. We're going to try and get through as much as we can in this hour, but people always want to know about cinnamon. People want to know what cinnamon can do for them, for you. Andrew, cinnamon has long been a favorite.
Oh, cinnamon, well, it was a favorite. It drove individuals in Europe to travel the world to try to find a more efficient trade route to the Far East. Right. So cinnamon has been one of those spices in the early, as say turmeric as well, but one of those spices that was prized. But at that time, no one was talking about its role of the standardized compounds, the type A polymers. I don't think the spice traders in the 14th century or so were talking about or 15th century, were talking about the type A polymers present in cinnamon that could support healthy blood sugar and blood glucose and blood insulin metabolism. I don't think that was at the top of their head at the time.
The journals weren't out yet on this one.
They weren't. But it is today, and it's something that I've talked about before. Doing this for as long as I have, almost 39 years, that the question I'm often asked, it's many times people will have medical considerations for a supplement. As I say, supplements don't do medicine. Supplements, they're not treatment or drugs. What supplements do is they affect or work on systems in your body. So when you're taking glucosamine and chondroitin to support healthy joints, it's not like you're treating arthritis. That you could do with your doctor. But whether your joint is healthy or has challenges, that tissue still requires natural support. cinnamon, the type A polymers present in cinnamon, just exert this natural balancing effect on our body's blood sugar and blood insulin metabolism. It's a question I had since the beginning of making supplements. Do you have anything that can help in that regard? And certainly today, with as many of us that are challenged with overweight or obesity, which then creates challenges for our ability to manage our blood sugar and manage our insulin. So it's something that if there's a natural tool that supports whatever medical efforts or whatever lifestyle changes we're seeking to make, and that cinnamon is the top of the list there.
So how about the delivery again, Andrew, in terms of how it's effective because of how you formulate it?
Well, the key with cinnamon is standardization. The key to turmeric standardization was that we got the best standardization, but then we had to complex it with fat. With cinnamon, there's no need to complex it with fat. So with our cinnamon, all you're getting in that capsule is, and if I open this capsule here, it's a tiny little capsule. Oops, there we go. Tiny little capsule, as all of them are. And again, ultrafine powder. You don't have to be a scientist to realize that, as you can see there, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's rich, that smell of cinnamon. And this is not, a lot of people put this on their oatmeal or oat bran or in their yogurt or a smoothie. Yes, it has the rich flavor and taste of cinnamon, but it bears little resemblance to the production process because we specifically standardize for the active components. And that's sufficient with cinnamon. But most cinnamon supplements are just a spice masquerading as a supplement. This is not a spice. I wish I could buy this at spice prices.
Right.
Because when you standardize, it tends to multiply the price by 5 or 10-fold at least.
Well, talking of pricing, very affordable if you're looking today. We have our New Year's savings. So the 30 caps today is just $10.90. You save 3.
Just 1 or 2 caps daily, by the way.
So just 1 per
I
tip.
take 1 capsule daily of this.
60 is $16.90. You save 6. Normally for the 120, you'd spend about $38. Today it's $27.90. You save 10. And then for the 240, incredibly affordable. Even at the regular pricing, today it's under $45 and you save 20.
And when you look at the reviews on this, and I'd encourage you to read the reviews. For me, I'm someone who, my fasting blood sugar, my A1C, which gives you more of a longer view of how your body's managing its blood sugar, they've always been in the good, healthy range. But since I've been using cinnamon, 1 capsule daily, it's even better. So I think this is just one of those extra tools that hopefully we're trying to lose weight because that will enhance our ability to manage blood sugar and manage our blood pressure as well. So that's always a great idea. Increasing our activity level, reducing our sugar intake and our complex carbohydrate intake, just trying to make the right decisions. And cinnamon is the perfect tool to enhance the results.
We've got some Hall of Famers here tonight, there's no doubt, from the
our
Max
most popular
Omega
products.
and the CoQ10 we're going to do now.
Oh, yes.
Andrew, why with, okay, CoQ10, obviously, what's in the top 5 of biggest sellers for you in terms of?
If we look at our most popular products, we're going to be looking, and it varies month to month, but we're going to be looking at healthy hair, skin, and nails, and CoQ10, always neck and neck, circulation, vein support. There are really about a half a dozen products that are the most frequently reordered products. Essential 1, our vitamin D, our omega-3s. So all of these, and what's funny is if you look at a list of the most popular products at HSN in a month, my products are throughout that list, even when I'm not here. As I often say, because the best salesman on this set right now, it's not me.
Oh, Andrew, thank you.
It's not me, it's not Adam. It's those bottles right there.
It's true.
Because our products are the most popular reorder products here. And they only get reordered. You're not watching the video before you reorder. They only get reordered because when you got them home, they didn't disappoint. They actually pleased you or impressed you, and that's the only reason you reorder.
Well, maybe in this new year, it's going to be about a better feeling of oneself with more energy, more vitality, more zest for life. Well, that's what Andrew's CoQ10 is going to do. And we'll get into I just saw there's only 5 minutes here as well. We'll get into how this works and the incredible way that this is helping to deliver some wonderful benefits. But again, I would say, and I say it with all the respect in the world, there's a lot of us right now who are watching who are already taking a CoQ10 product. If you compare your CoQ10 product to the one in my hand, you will be dazzled with the difference. There is no comparison. So if you're a CoQ10 believer and lover already, switch to this one. You'll see a huge difference. And of course, if you've never tried CoQ10 before, we'll share with you why it's so popular. Pricing very quickly, savings are there. Again, larger size.
And just because many people ask before we go over pricing, this is the best pricing you'll see on this product other than a Today Special.
Right.
And the Today Special on this product will not be until the end, toward the end of this year.
Right.
It's definitely in the fourth quarter of 2018. So just so everyone knows that.
So this is a really great deal and a great time to take advantage. Obviously down here, normally $159, today $109, you save $50. Don't forget the larger sizes are typically on flex pay, which makes it even more affordable.
And what's exciting about our CoQ10 is if you look at pricing on CoQ10, when I introduced CoQ10 back in 1984, which is 34 years ago, we were the first folks doing CoQ10. You'll see pricing that's probably about 10 times more expensive than it is today. It was a 30 milligram supply. Today you're getting 200 milligrams. You're also getting a full separate vitamin C. You're getting a full B complex with B12. Because CoQ10 is the foundational ingredient for energy production in your body. There's no sensible approach to energy, whatever you might do, whether it's a caffeine supplement or calories or this and that. There's no sensible approach that isn't first built on a foundation of adequate levels of CoQ10. Also, most of the drugs and medications we take to either a greater or a lesser extent diminish our body's inherent levels of CoQ10. In fact, the most popular drugs out there, cholesterol-lowering statin drugs, as effectively as they lower cholesterol, and they lower cholesterol effectively, they equally effectively lower CoQ10. So if you're taking those statin drugs and you want to maintain optimum organ function that requires CoQ10, optimum energy level that requires CoQ10, you need to supplement CoQ10. Also, there's a wide body of research that shows that if you want to diminish the side effects associated with the use of statin drugs, supplement with CoQ10. So very important. Also, antidepressants. Also, a class of drugs used for osteoporosis or osteopenia also interfere with CoQ10 synthesis in our body. So again, very important, and it often describes why one of the principal side effects of these medications is fatigue. And we have scientific charts that specifically speak to that. But this is the time of year where they talk about New You and New Year's resolutions and all those things. No resolution to make change. Nothing is going to be different unless you have the resources to make it different. And the most effective resource and the principal resource we all require to accomplish anything is just energy. Without energy, nothing changes. Without adequate supplies of energy. And the foundational product in that regard is really coenzyme Q10. And if you read the reviews on that, it's like our cinnamon product, we didn't mention it. That's a product with over 95% positive reviews. And the same goes for coenzyme Q10.
So Andrew, but by very nature, as we age, our concentration of CoQ10 also diminishes, correct?
Well, our levels of CoQ10 within our body, within our cells, is diminished. It doesn't mean our requirements are diminished. So yet again, perhaps one of the easiest and most straightforward explanations, and there's science that speaks to this, of why as we get older we have a perception of fatigue more often. And fatigue is one of the most common complaints we take to our doctors. Right. CoQ10 availability. We do a number of things in our lifestyle between all the medications I had mentioned previously, but just lifestyle change, whether it's smoking or alcohol consumption. We do things, overweight, obesity, that affect the availability of CoQ10 within our body, within our cells. And the other thing we need to remember, our body is very unique. Out in the world, if you think about energy supply in the world, energy supply is built, is created at power plants, power stations. Maybe now we're getting solar panels on our homes, or at my factory, we produce all our energy. We don't need a power station. But in general, out in the world, we get power delivered to us. In your body, there are trillions of cells. Each one of those cells is responsible for its own energy. It cannot rely on its neighbor. It has to do the fundamental, almost sort of dirty work of creating energy, of burning fuel. each one of our cells has to transport the electrons that's required for its own cellular energetic experience, doing its own work. That requires CoQ10. So every single one of the cells in your body, at any one moment in time, they all trillions of them, must have their own supply of CoQ10, or they're not transporting electrons, and you're not experiencing energy. When you think about that, and think about all the nutrients essential for energy production, I think it would give us a renewed sense of responsibility to try to deliver them to our body, because each of these cells in our body is independently and individually responsible for doing that.
So maybe it's the fatigue thing, as Andrew talks about it. Maybe it's that tired feeling that you've got day in and day out. That's not, and Andrew, I think a lot of us live like that.
Well, I think a lot of us, and then it affects our state of mind. It affects how we feel about our world, our job, our family, our relationships. So to the extent we're energetic, and it's sort of funny, I look at it as it's a sort of a collective cellular experience. They often talk about the American economy, and it's the byproduct of, what, 350 million people or things like that. But in our body, it's the collective experience of trillions of cells, not millions, not billions, but trillions of cells. So the experience of energy is really going to be the byproduct of the collective efficacy of those cells, how well your heart is functioning, and your lungs, and your liver, and your skeletal muscles, and all the different tissues in your body. And then there's the endocrine system and the nervous system. So it's a fascinatingly intricate system. And I simply look at CoQ10 as being the foundational ingredient that all of those cells require to do that work.
So this is your chance to be able to get it. Obviously, as Andrew said, the today's special is not so much later in the year, in the fourth quarter. So this is that New Year's savings price that we've got, so we can kind of get that head start and say, this year, I'm going to feel better. Obviously, this is exciting with any of these products, whether it's our today's specials, whether it's Max Omega, whether it's going to be CoQ10. These are making a real difference in our lives. Final words here, Andrew?
Just that if we're looking for something to support our workouts this time of year, exercise and things like that, and it's sort of those New Year's changes, change requires an impetus.
Right.
And in science, we define energy as the ability to do work. We think of work as a job, but work is, in the scientific world, in a physicist's mind, work is some change in the status of energy and matter. And energy is what matters. So if we want to make a difference, I think we need to pay attention to the energetic systems on a cellular level. And that's CoQ10. And I encourage you to read the reviews. More than listen to me, I encourage you to read the reviews.
And with that in mind, we're going to go over for the final half hour of our show. There are two today's specials. Glucosamine and chondroitin, obviously we're spending very little time there. That's going to be later on. First and foremost, our circulation and vein support for healthy legs, feet and calves. Andrew, always a wonderful time to do it. And we covered a lot of areas, from restless leg to hemorrhoids to lots of subjects. Well, I mean, real life.
And it's funny, I didn't elaborate on the whole discussion of hemorrhoids because, again, this is not a medical product. And what hemorrhoids basically are, we have blood vessels throughout our body, through all the tissues of our body. I just talked about that every single cell in our body is responsible for its own energy production. In other words, we have to deliver oxygen and nutrients to those cells as well, so that each of those cells can do the work that's involved with producing that energy. And in other words, circulation is the critical role, that the critical piece of our systems that's delivering that oxygen, and it's the red blood cells that are carrying that oxygen. Those red blood cells are present in our circulation. It's being delivered at a level, at the capillary level. But when we think about the tissues in our body and the circulation and nourishing them, we really don't think about how that is what affects the enlargement of the tissues in our legs.
Right.
That when our circulation in our legs isn't as healthy as it could be, those blood vessels aren't as toned as they used to be, that's when fluid seeps out. That's when those tissues get enlarged. Now, I was saying this last night, that even if we are at our ideal weight, have perfectly healthy circulation, that if we looked and measured the circumference of our ankles and calves at the age of 20 versus the age of 40 versus the age of 60, we're seeing changes, even if we're perfectly healthy. It's just the normal, natural changes. But then when we also consider what's happening over the course of our lifetime, that the majority of us, 75% of us roughly, are obese or overweight, that further conspires to enlarge those tissues. And those blood vessels that are basically ensure they have to be in contact with all the cells in our body to deliver those vital components, that fine circulation changes as we get older, and that's the enlargement of tissues. The tone of those blood vessels change, and that's the enlarged blood vessels we see in our legs. So it's sort of, I'm sort of graphically seeing in my mind, I'm not sure if I'm describing it adequately, but as we get older, that very fine circulation, especially in our feet, ankles, and calves, given the nature of their location and given the nature of their challenges, our heart is up here. Our heart is pumping blood down into our feet, ankles, and calves, nourishing the largest mass of musculature on our body. Lots of blood is going down there, carrying oxygen and nutrients. Waste products build up down there that have to come back up. Because remember, the blood supply, it's a circulation, it's a circuit, it's going in a circle. So if that blood is not coming back, it's building up down there, guess what we experience? We experience an enlargement of tissues, we experience swelling, enlargement of the blood vessels, and that's what we all experience. Because the way our body tries to get that blood back up from our lower extremities is by pushing it from behind, by sending more blood down. So effectively, it's like a pump. It should be expected that over time, over a lifetime, those tissues will enlarge and basically inflate. That fluid will seep out of those blood vessels, and our feet swell, our ankles and calves swell. It is a basic fact of life. It's a basic fact of aging, but it doesn't have to be experienced in the same way, and that's what this product speaks to. The reviews are almost consistently perfect. Not consistently good, but consistently perfect, and that's because it follows science, and that science is very clear in the comprehensive benefits that this product provides.
So, and we covered a lot of it in the last hour, and we'll do as much as we can now. Price-wise, clearly the best deal of the entire year is tonight, or today rather. $60 is normally $33. Today it's under $20, you save $13. $180 is normally $75. Today under $50, you save $25. $360 normally $130. Today less than $80, you save $50. $750, which is a special size that Andrew does just for this day, is normally a $250 price tag. Today it's $129.90 on 5 Flex, so incredibly affordable, and that saves you $120. I wrote it down earlier when I was reading through some of the reviews, and I know we mentioned it briefly in the last hour, but the words of miracle and life-changing are not things that we take lightly. But beyond anything, Andrew, I found it inspiring how passionate people were. I mean, these weren't 3-line reviews. These were like essays.
I'll grab some, because we've only gone through about 15 or 20 of the reviews. I have a couple of hundred here. And what I want to do, I keep saying this, what I want to do on our reviews for various products, because all of those reviews are probably in a Word file somewhere.
Sure.
So I would scan the Word file for words like that, where idea. I would say in the 2,000 plus reviews, just the concept of wouldn't want to be without it is probably mentioned a few hundred times.
Right.
I bet we'd see the word miracle 50 to 100 times.
Yep.
Life-changing, probably a couple of hundred times. And these are not words that I might be speaking for everyone out there. I don't think people offer them up just willy-nilly, just arbitrarily. I think these are words that, when that review is being written, they're truly heartfelt words.
Yep.
And you read the reviews, and that's why I encourage everyone to do so. You get a sense of sort of the unanimity of experience here. And I said before, if there's anything our country has demonstrated, certainly in my lifetime, has been a capacity to disagree, maybe in the whole planet, a capacity to disagree. And maybe that's just human nature, that we all have our own opinions, we all have our own experience, and it's our way. If there's one thing that my products, because it goes to the one thing that we all share, that common thread, is our internal biochemistry. So my products go to that fundamental biochemistry. They're not drugs or medicines.
Right.
They just go to the common anatomy and physiology we all share. And that's why I think they're so unanimously reviewed. I think the reason why they're so passionately reviewed isn't just because they work so well. It's just that I think other vitamins people have taken over the course of their lifetime have been remarkably disappointing. And I think that's the unique attribute of my company, is we only make products that follow the science. We don't make products that other companies are quite happy to make because their customers are interested in them, but I'm only interested in making products that will deliver benefits and get the kinds of reviews you see here.
And we have such a myriad of different reviews from people of all different ages saying different things. I don't like the way my legs look. I don't like the appearance of the veins. I don't like the way my legs feel. I go to bed at night and that restless feeling. I don't like it. My feet are swollen. My ankles are swollen. What can I do? I can't fit into those shoes anymore. It's the same common problems that so many of us go through that we're looking for a solution. And here it is, it's right here. This is the one that Andrew's formulated specially for us, better than it's ever been. The price per caps, as Andrew's talked a lot about, I mean, we're down to about 17 cents. So bear that in mind as well. It's unbelievable.
No, when you think that this is dramatically less expensive than when I introduced it almost 20 years ago, and when you see the quantity and volume of the reviews, it's compelling. And a lot of people who even have taken the product, they didn't think there was anything they could do. They didn't even really think there was anything going on. Right. But I think what happens, the aging process is a persistent and kind of a pernicious process. It's this sneaky process that happens so slowly that we might not even notice some of the things that are problematic. And I think that certainly goes for, or we might not know there's anything we can do about it, certainly goes for the circulation in our lower extremity. And I just grabbed some more reviews, and I felt like we'll end up reading probably by the end of today, probably 25 reviews, and I probably have 300 of them there.
A drop in the ocean.
No, but it's so environmentally, I don't want to be wasting the charts. So we could always read them in the future. But so this is I just grabbed, I think this was like 101 through 110. Really helps the cramps. My daughter recommended these as she also uses them. My husband would get up with leg cramps and walk them off so many nights. I ordered these and put them in his pill case for over a month. He didn't think much of them until I forgot to put them in the case daily. And after a few days, he was walking off cramps each night again until I realized what I did. Needless to say, they are back on his schedule, and we will not make the mistake of being without them again. Wow. They really help him. Stop the discomfort. I'm on my feet all day long, as many as 10 hours a day, and had a lot of discomfort and swelling in my legs. I saw this product on HSN and figured I had nothing to lose. After 2 days of taking this product, I was without discomfort in the legs. The swelling in my feet and legs is way down, almost to the point of being non-existent, and I can get through my day much easier. Thank you for such a great product. I will be ordering more soon. Won't be without again. I've been taking this for about 12 years. Wow. I used to be on my feet all day long. It helped tremendously. Then I changed jobs and wasn't standing all day. I still had a good supply left, so I kept taking it. Then I ran out. About 2 weeks later, my legs started bothering me. I couldn't figure out why. Then I remembered I wasn't taking the circulation and vein support. After about 3 weeks, my legs don't ache anymore. I will never be without again. Andrew, please keep making this. From Shelley in Florida. Pleasantly surprised, won't go without. There's a common thread here. Cankles run in my family. It can be especially bad in the hot summer months, which we had many of in Oregon this year. I've found circulation vein support to make a marked difference with this. Additionally, I have had knee surgery and both knees have issues. I've noticed that I can actually see my knees again. Wow. There is much less swelling. Initially, I purchased the 60 count, 30-day supply, but plan on ordering a larger size next time. I wanted to try it out first. I anticipate never going without this product. From Magnolia in Oregon. Amazing, a daily must. I bought the largest bottle the first time and just bought my second bottle. I ran out for a week and won't do that again. I wanted to know if I would be able to tell that my circulation was worse when not taking it. Proven fact for me, circulation vein support supports your circulation. You will have less swelling and discomfort if you take this product. It is amazing. From Cynthia in Alabama. Happy legs. Actually, I'm kicking myself with those happy feet. Why didn't I try this sooner? Another common thread. I reorder numerous products from Andrew and had heard this mentioned before but hadn't tried it. But I'm so happy I finally did. My leg issue is gone. I have trouble sometimes falling asleep. And when that happens, after 10 to 15 minutes, my My leg nerves start jumping and keep me awake. Common issue with restless legs in bed. But since taking Andrew's circulation and vein support, my legs are nice and relaxed. So even on nights when I can't drift off quickly, they don't bother me. Excellent product, and thank you. Recommend this product 1,000%. Again, this is, I think, the 5th one. Helped with hemorrhoids, too. I was suffering from hemorrhoids discomfort. I was praying, and God reminded me about these vitamins. I took them and felt so much better right away. I thank God for Andrew and this product. God bless, Linda, Illinois. Now, that's a good partner.
Yeah, the best.
He's my free marketing budget. I don't have a marketing budget, so I need to have someone helping me. So, Wonder Supplement. I bought this for my mom, who has veins that she says burn and burst. She has varicose veins and her legs bother her nonstop. She was skeptical but desperate, so she tried them. She was nearly a month into them and felt no difference, but kept taking them because I bought them for her, and she figured she would finish them and not get them again. Well, at about the 1-month mark, her legs began to feel wonderful. When she ran out, her leg problems came back. Just as before, she placed an order and very quickly was feeling better again. She has not been without them since. That was a couple of years ago. Thank you, Andrew. We'll do 1 or 2 more. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Andrew, I can't thank you enough for this product. I should look how many times the word thank you shows up. I was skeptical at first, but man, did that change fast. The first day I took it, I felt a slight difference in my legs. The second day, even more. And now it has been a week, and I will never, ever stop taking it. Wow. I can walk without that heavy feeling and no more swollen legs or feet. Thank you so much. I recommend this product to everyone, from Liz in New York. Best stuff ever made. I've been having problems for years. I ordered this product thinking I would probably send it back. And you're welcome to.
Fair enough.
But you won't want to.
Right.
But in 2 days, I could tell the difference. The discomfort became less and less, and I could stand longer and walk farther without discomfort. I will never be without this product. I'm going to try more of Andrew's products now that I know they work. From Renee, thank you, and God bless.
That was what, maybe 12, 13 reviews that we just went through? And
10.
10. But they were long reviews. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, for a lot of us, though, I think we get so caught up in our everyday lives. And even though the evidence is there, and maybe Andrew's speaking to so many of us of problems that we're experiencing every day, that unless you do it now and say, okay, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to try it, then we'll forget later today, and then we've got to go deal with the kids, and we've got to think about Monday morning at work, and so we just keep going. We don't have to live with these common complaints. We don't have to feel this way. We're all looking for some great answers. What's amazing about this is that it's all natural. There are no side effects. It's not heavy on the stomach. It's not a drug. I mean, think about that. Andrew just read all of those reviews saying it works, it works, it works, it works. And this is not a drug. I mean, Andrew, that is what we're all searching for, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's nothing akin to a drug at all. It's just something that supports tissues that are challenged. The blood vessels in the legs, for the reasons I described before. I mean, gravity wants everything that goes down to stay down.
Right.
Our heart is a very powerful organ, pumping all of that blood and fluid. And remember, it's not just pumping it through our large arteries. It then has to go into these tiny little veins and venules and also then into our capillaries. So it's trying to get all of that blood to visit all of those tissues and deliver oxygen and nutrients and carry away waste products. But all of that force of circulation, all of that pressure the heart exerts, it also enlarges those tissues. It also forces eventually over the course of time in our lifetime, fluid seeps out, the tissues enlarge. So if there's a natural tool that supports the health of those tissues, and that's exactly what this does, that's what those reviews are. And I've read twice today, I've read the scientific quotes I read it on Diosmin with hesperidin, where I read probably 15, 20 quotes from a dozen different medical journals talking about its rapid, comprehensive mode of action, its consistent results, its rapid results. What I was going to do here, there's another ingredient we added about 5 years ago, butcher's broom. I'll just read something very quickly here on butcher's broom. And we doubled the levels of butcher's broom. Butcher's broom could be another product But instead, we just want to make this an even better product. So we took a product with more than a half a century of use in Europe. We enhanced its activity. So Butcher's Broom, I won't even try to read that. It's drug discovery in German. What is that? Arzneimittelforschung?
Oh, you did it. Very good.
The beneficial effect of, with no German accent, the beneficial effect of Butcher's Broom, which has been well established for centuries in the pharmacopoeia of the Mediterranean countries, is now clinically established by its scientifically proven pharmacodynamic properties and clinical actions. Again, that's some pretty strong scientific language. From phlebology, that's a word studying the study of blood. Butcher's Broom enhances venous tone by promoting vasoconstriction through a direct effect and by increasing blood flow. It sounds like we're reading the same reviews for Diosmin. Angiology. Butcher's Broom enhances venous tone by promoting smooth muscle contraction in veins through a direct alpha adrenergic effect, a mechanism of action that differs from other options, from drug options. International angiology. The microcirculatory space is protected by the effect of Butcher's Broom extract on return circulation and by the action of hesperidin and vitamin C. Guess what? We also have asparagine and vitamin C in the product. The reciprocal potential of the effects of these active principles is responsible for the efficacy on venous return. In another study with Butcher's Broom, hesperidin and ascorbic acid, by the way, we add vitamin C too, a significant improvement in heavy legs, leg discomfort, cramps, and afternoon edema, swelling, was demonstrated, as well as an improvement in vein health following use. Could keep going on with Butcher's Broom. Then this is from on Diosmin. The efficacy was clearly demonstrated with a rapid improvement of functional signs in the first months, being maintained till the end of the study. The reduction of ankle and calf circumferences, getting smaller, is probably linked to decrease in plasma filtration through capillary walls. This fact confirms the positive role of Diosmin with hesperidin on tissue microcirculation. The only thing that I possess here to a larger extent than all those positive reviews is positive science.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to have a product that you have your choice of the experience of others, thousands of experiences, or the experience of scientists. And we have here at least hundreds of quotes.
So as we kind of bring this to a close, don't forget, pricing-wise, if you're choosing that larger $750, there is a $10 bonus buy, so you get a further $10 off for each additional one. $129 saves you $120. It's the only day of the year that Andrew does this, so if you were ever going to buy it in a larger size, today would be the day, and it's not like it's a small percentage off. I mean, it's tremendously discounted. So if you would like to try it, if anything we've said has hit a chord with you, then obviously we would love for you to be the next recipient of one of Andrew's best sellers. It's something to feel proud of, and as Andrew talks about the all solar paneled facility in Nevada, to how everything is done to the most precise degree. The formulations, the quality, the capacity of everything. Remember, when you order this, this is being made right now. It's not that you're ordering something that sat on a shelf and sat there for months on end. It's done just for you. And Andrew, as we've talked a lot about, you cut out the middleman, as it were.
Plus, this is absolutely cut out the middleman. We're a vertically integrated company, and what's interesting about a product like this, I suspect we didn't start making this product until a couple of weeks ago. We were so busy producing Secure for that Today Special.
Last week.
And plus, again, this is a special formula for this event.
Right.
So unlike products that have to make a journey from some contract manufacturer, then to the marketing company who's going to maybe offer it, to then get to a warehouse somewhere, that then might get to a retailer or internet company or who knows where or who knows how, this product makes a simple journey from my factory, where it is entirely created, entirely using solar energy, to one of two warehouses that HSN has. And when I arrived at HSN 22 years ago, one of the things that I required, their warehouses at that time were not temperature controlled.
Right.
My products, I insist they be temperature controlled. You might do whatever you want when it gets to your house. I want you to know these products were appropriately handled before they get to your house. So it's a product that's and then when it gets to HSN's warehouse, it's probably being shipped to you in general less than 2 weeks later.
Stay right there.
Quickly.
One last presentation is happening tonight. We're going to go on, talking of journeys, we're going to go on one more journey over to this side.
Right. This hour is, I think we only have a few 7 or 8 minutes left. It passes too quickly.
Well, and it's funny because there's a lot that we still not even got to, but this one specifically with glucosamine and chondroitin, Andrew, it was 3 years. I mean, I'm not getting my facts wrong, am I? It was 2015 this was last available.
Well, last is a Today Special.
Right.
We've had it available. Of course, we've had it available. It's one of our most popular. You asked about our popular reorder products. This is another one of our most popular reorder products, but there's only so many Today Specials we can do in a year, and everyone out there is who dictates what those Today Specials are. I make sure that we do Today Specials that are the most popular products. We don't use it to clear out our unpopular products. We use it as an opportunity to most affordably make our most popular products. And so glucosamine chondroitin, again, moved up to that list, and we partnered it here with the circulation vein support because it's sort of a two-step thing, taking care of our leg vein circulation, also takes care of our circulation throughout our body, but also making sure that we're taking care of our joints. As we get older, everyone's different. It could be our shoulders, our elbows, our hands, our feet, our ankles, our knees. I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life, and my body talks to me about some of the foolish things I've done in the past. But thankfully, I've also taken good care of myself since I became just a wellness athlete instead of a competitive athlete.
There you go.
And
write that down.
And so someone, but it still means I still probably spend a couple of hours a day minimum intensely exercising. That's part of my life, and it's part of my recipe for staying youthful. And I think part of my job doing what I do is taking good care of myself so I could continue to digest all of the information and all of the science and be not just a spokesperson for my company, but a healthy representative of my company. And when it comes to glucosamine and chondroitin, it was one of the first ingredients my company made back in 1979, because that is when I was in the middle of kind of beating my body up as an athlete.
Right.
So I really needed to give my body something, the raw materials necessary. It's not a drug or medicine, but the raw materials necessary to care for joints that at that time, in my youthful indiscretion, I was abusing those joints. Now I try to treat them very, very nicely.
Well, folks, if you want to treat your joints nicely, glucosamine and chondroitin is exactly the one to do it. If you didn't see the launch with Andrew earlier this morning with Colleen, there's only this presentation and then one more brief one later tonight. Huge demand for this for obvious reasons, and pricing very fast. You know, the best of the entire year. Again, the $720 is your best bet, down from $259 to $129. You save as much as you're spending.
You're saving actually as much as you're spending.
Right.
So and these are ingredients that we've all heard of glucosamine and chondroitin, but the typical formula in stores, they do not offer the proper form. They offer a much cheaper form that doesn't have the science supporting it. They don't offer the proper balance. And then they tend to put it in a rock-hard tablet, which all that does is create challenges for anyone taking it, both sort of physical challenges in difficulty of swallowing, upset stomach, but also beneficial challenges because it's not as readily available. Something needs to fully dissolve, and with my products, it fully dissolves. It's as we can see right here, it's an ultrafine powder that is like dust. Any doubts that that's going to be available for absorption? I mean, and it's not going to upset your stomach because it instantly disperses. It's common sense almost that a tablet would upset your stomach because, you know, normally with food at least, solid things, what do? We chew them. When we put a tablet in our body, and especially with vitamin tablets, with medicine tablets, they're usually tiny tablets. With vitamin tablets, they're large masses. Typically, they contain minerals that are relatively insoluble. So you put this solid mass sitting in your stomach, it irritates that point, that area, that lining of your stomach. So we never do anything like that.
I mean, hands up at home, honestly. Those of us that are taking some kind of vitamin that is a solid brick, a big brick, I mean, we think it's okay, because how could they sell us something that wasn't going to be great for us? But the truth is, you can't compare it to what Andrew makes.
No, and when I first started my company, for a short period of time, I made tablets. And I made those tablets until I couldn't tolerate them anymore, personally. Because as I often said, my first products I was just making for me. As I said before, I was an athlete, and I knew that sound nutrition was something I could use to maybe make up for any lack of talent. So at least I'd use my brain to help. But when I was making those tablets initially, it was just horrible in terms of digestion. It was just as bad as any products that were out there, no matter how good the ingredients were. If it was in a physical form that was disruptive or just kind of nauseating, it wasn't going to work. And that's when I realized that we can make capsules. But then all the capsules contained additives and flowing agents and fillers and lubricants. And that's when I figured out how to make capsules without any of those things. And it's only because I was hands-on making those capsules all by myself. I don't run those capsule machines today, but that's exactly what I was doing over 35 years ago.
So there are a lot of us who are waking up, obviously, and suffering the effects. And maybe you were very active when you were younger. Maybe you were an athlete like Andrew was. Maybe you've got joint issues. Maybe your knees hurt. I mean, what is it on your body that just doesn't feel the way it should do? With Andrew's glucosamine and chondroitin, the perfect balance, the perfect formula with maximum benefits, it makes a difference. And even though we don't really have time, when you read what people say about it, it enhances their quality of life. And quality of life is something that we have to hold on to and take any kind of opportunity to make better. Yeah,
it's funny. I mentioned this last night, and I'd forgotten where I had learned it, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct. There was a host, I'm dating myself again, that I worked with at QVC 26 or 27 years ago. Right. A gentleman named, I believe, Steve Bryant. And when I was talking about one of my products at the time, he brought up the concept of the benefit. And like when we're talking about circulation vein support, say, your blood vessels are smaller, they look better, they're less enlarged. You might wear a short skirt, you might feel better about your legs. Feeling better about your legs wearing a short skirt, that's the benefit of the benefit. The benefit is the change in the blood vessels.
Right.
The benefit is the reduction in swelling. The benefit is the change in say, discomfort with glucosamine and chondroitin. The benefit is the change in how your joints feel and function. The benefit of the benefit is how it might change your life, your perspective of your life, and how you live your life. And we're all seeking the benefit of the benefit. The signpost along the way is the benefit itself. So it's really and it's something that's I should talk about more, because that's really what drives most of our decision making. Yes, we're interested in the benefit, but what really transforms those reviews is the benefit of the benefit, how it changes our life, our attitude, how we move through the world. And these are two products, circulation vein support for healthy legs. Our approach to glucosamine and chondroitin, I could go through the science, and I'll probably do that later today, on glucosamine and chondroitin, talk about how probably dozens and dozens of government entities around the world view it as a principal initial line of therapy for healthy joints or support for healthy joints. And so that's all out there in the science, the literature, the research. The most important thing to do with glucosamine and chondroitin is just make it so it follows the research. Right. It would seem pretty basic, that it would seem kind of crazy if almost all of the research on glucosamine discussed glucosamine sulfate, and then almost all or most of the products out in the market don't. They're glucosamine hydrochloride. It's like, why would they do that? Well, that's because glucosamine hydrochloride sounds like glucosamine sulfate, and a company can sell it as glucosamine sulfate effectively, and it also costs much, much, much less. And that's the problem with glucosamine. If you read the reviews, that's why so many folks say, I tried someone else's glucosamine product, it didn't work. Tried yours, and it worked fine.
It always makes me laugh, because a lot of other companies, when they make a change to a formula, which they might do once every decade, they make this big song and dance about it. What becomes the norm for us with Andrew is that Andrew's formulas evolve all the time.
No, I would say this product, just in the 39 years I've been making it, we've made subtle changes in capsule count, because this originally, to get to the maximum levels for maximum benefit, it's 4 capsules. Used to be 7 capsules back in the day. Just the different forms, the form of chondroitin we have that is sodium-free, that you're getting basically a bonus of calcium and potassium with this product. We've done that probably on an average, I'd say every 18 months we change a formula. And that's the moment the science or your reviews demand a change, that's what we do. Right now we've kind of settled into a great product. I'm not sure if we're going to make this any better than it is.
If you'd like to see what remains of this, it's tonight at 8 p.m. with Colleen and Andrew. Obviously limited supplies on a Today's Special that hasn't been here as a Today's Special.
Very limited
years.
on this because this was really going to be our second Today's Special just so folks could reorder at a very, very special price. So I think we're down to maybe 1,000 bottles in each side, which isn't much.
Oh my gosh, 1,000 bottles in each side, so order yours.
But the important thing, again, to mention about glucosamine and chondroitin, it's not a drug. Right. It's a product that's I think even better. It's disrespectful to call it a drug. What it's delivering the structural support that our joints require to do their work on our behalf.
Well, Andrew will be back tonight at 8 with Colleen, and then tomorrow at 7 p.m. with myself for the Monday Night Show Takeover. Yes. We're going to talk about things that we don't typically get a lot of time to talk about.
All your questions. Yeah. So feel free to provide your questions, and we'll talk about them on Monday night.
It is a wonderful Sunday here on HSN, and Sunday means